Good morning. Yeah, Jen, don't roll your eyes at me. It's morning here in Denver, Colorado. Those of you that are local, hope you're digging out well. It's certainly been an interesting weekend. Nonetheless, I'm Adam Smith, and we are here with another episode of How I Met Your Mortgage. As always, with me is my co-host and one of the other coaches here at Just the Tips, Jen Wayboer. Good morning, Jen.
Good morning, Adam.
And we've got a pretty cool guest for you guys, somebody we've been waiting to have on the show for quite a while. In fact, we were discussing it off camera before we went live for all of you and had booked this particular guest sometime last summer, John Yacovetta. Good morning, John.
Morning, guys. Thanks for having me.
No, thank you for joining us. We've been looking forward to this for some time, no question. We're glad to have you. Yeah, so, John, the normal MO for the podcast is obviously to get a little bit of background on you, how you got into real estate, maybe what you were doing before that. If you want to talk about past Denver blizzards, we're happy to do that as well. Now we did a bunch of that off camera. For those of you that are not in our market, we had a good couple of feet of snow over the weekend. It'll probably be gone in another 24 hours because March in Denver. But nonetheless, those of us that are local are probably spending a lot of time at home today and probably a good amount of time with the snow shovel. But John, in addition to certainly wanting to know your background, how you got into this, how it got to the point you're at now, and most of our audience knows that we've got a pretty healthy vetting process for real estate agents that come on the show, certainly. So we know you're doing some solid work these days. And then, I'm going to be honest, a lot of our discussion has turned to the goofiness in the real estate market in the majority of urban areas around the country right now, and sadly what that might look like in the future, if that's all right with you.
Sure.
Yeah. All right. Well, give us the background, man. Where'd you come from?
Absolutely. I'm a native. I've been here forever, except for college. I left for a couple of years and went to the University of Kansas, Rock Chalk Jayhawk. I had a lot of fun out there. It took me 5 years to get out of there. I was kind of a slacker the first couple of years, but what are you going to do? But as far as getting into real estate goes, it was something. I don't know.
Hey, all of you out there listening, C's get degrees.
C's get degrees.
C's get degrees.
Yep, I was a 2.5 and I had to work real hard the last 2 years to get to 2.5. Anyway, after college, moved back home and started doing a couple of things. I was working at an athletic club, but I have a coaching background. I started coaching. I played baseball in high school, and did not play in college. But I started coaching baseball at Lawrence High School while I was in Kansas. And I'd come back home and coached a couple of summers at my alma mater, Thomas Jefferson, and kind of fell in love with coaching, which segued into a career in education. I taught at a charter school called Venture Prep, and I got hired there in 2010. And I was kind of in a situation where I was just looking for a job. I was working at an athletic club, wasn't making great money, wasn't really doing anything that I thought was awesome. So fun tip is if applying to teach at a charter school does not require a teacher's license. I did not have a teacher's license, but I had some experience leading kids and running programs and some stuff like that. And I have my bachelor's degrees in Spanish. I was fluent in Spanish at the time. I don't practice that much anymore. So I got hired as a Spanish teacher. Taught Spanish for a couple of years at the startup charter school and did well. And had an opportunity to move into the English department. And then I taught language arts for the rest of my career in education. I taught AP Literature, AP Language, and was the Language Arts Department Chair at Venture Prep until 2017. In 2015, we went through an administration change, and the new administration and I did not get along well, and we butted heads, and they butted harder in the end, and just like that, I found myself looking for something new to do. And good learning lesson for me is, as an educator, I applied to Venture Prep and I didn't have my teacher's license and I never took the steps to get it. So it's kind of like, okay, what am I going to do now? When lucky for me, going back to that athletic club, I met Brett Weinstein at that athletic club, and we struck up a very, very Very good friendship then. We've been very close since then, and went to dinner one night and kind of told him what was going on in my life, and he goes, "Well, why don't you try real estate?" And I went, "No, I'm not a salesman. Like, no, it's not for me. It's not who I am." And we had a conversation about it, and he talked me into kind of thinking about it. I thought about it for maybe 24 hours, and I said, "Yeah, let's do it. Like, it's for change. It's time for, a different perspective, different way of interacting with people, a different way of interacting with adults, with the world, with everything." I realized that it was an opportunity for me to kind of expand who I was and learn more about the world and do something that allowed me to make a good living.
That's fascinating. And yeah, Brett's great. We know Brett, and yeah, we think that he's amazing. He is a great agent. He's a great mentor, and yeah, he's got a grip on. I don't even know how to put this. Just the human path. He knows how to interact with people of all ages, as a spouse, as a parent, as a mentor, as a colleague. Yeah, we really like Brett. That's a great landing spot.
Absolutely, yeah. Very very lucky to have him in my life.
How long ago was this?
Well, I mean, I met Brett in, gosh, I was maybe 21 or 22. I think it was 15 years ago. But the first conversation we had about serious conversations we had about my getting my real estate license was 2017.
So not that far off. So, and you still work with Brett?
I do.
Okay, so that speaks volumes right there, because whatever it is you've done in what's likely no more, probably a little less than 4 years, has really paid dividends, because obviously we followed you and watched your production, what's probably over the course of a good 2 years at this point, I figure. So yeah, that's pretty impressive stuff. All right, well let's fast forward just a bit, and what was this like as a brand new agent? What were you spending your time doing? Where were your buyers and sellers coming from? What did that look like 4 years ago?
It was horrifying. I was so used to being a part of a bigger organization and having people telling me what to do and working with a job description and having very clear expectations. And I didn't really understand a commission-driven career and being essentially my own boss, right? We're all independent contractors in this, and it took me a little while to grasp the idea of, I am my own CEO and I have the opportunity to run my business like a business on a daily basis. And it's something that I'm still working on, but at least now I kind of get it. So in the beginning, I started as Brett's showing agent. I didn't have a huge, I'm a Colorado native, but I didn't have a huge sphere. I wasn't very active on social media. I worked with kids. I didn't want them seeing the pictures of me, drinking Southern Comfort from my KU days. So I kept myself pretty private, and I had to get used to opening myself up socially, and attending events and meeting new people and making relationships with lenders and making relationships with title people. So I learned the business. I learned kind of how to do the job of a real estate agent as Brett's showing agent. I went out and did showings and stuff like that for him. And that kind of grew. I started building relationships with his clients, and then my sphere started to kind of be like, oh, he's doing stuff. You post a couple of things on Facebook, you're out doing some showings, and you post an under contract, you post a closing. And then the calls kind of start to come, the texts kind of start to come and say, hey, how's the market? I'm thinking about buying a house. What do you think my house is worth? And it really, for me, my business kind of snowballed from there. And I've been able to parlay that also into a role as a mentor at BSW from having been able to do some business and have the transferable skills. Like, I didn't realize there were a ton of transferable skills from being an educator to being a real estate agent. I didn't realize that when I got in, and now I've kind of seen that and been able to parlay that in ways. So that's kind of a snapshot of where my business is at and how it's growing.
That's good. And there are a couple of things that I want to highlight in that last monologue. One, for all of you listening, Yeah, you really do have to adopt a mindset that you are running your own business, whether you're on a team, whether you're individual with a company. Even if you have no company interaction, that probably comes a little faster. If you're working for a big operation like Remax or Keller, it might be a little more difficult to adopt that mindset. And then I think the other really important thing that John touched on here, guys, is yeah, thank God social media didn't exist when I was in college. That would have been, yeah, that would, my parents would be so disappointed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I got a couple of phone calls in college from my parents when they discovered Facebook.
Yep.
Ooh,
It existed when I was in college.
yeah,
My
that's,
grandfather promptly blocked me after he saw my tattoos. He decided that was enough.
yeah, this is why your parents have only visited you once the whole time you've been here, huh?
It could be.
It could be. They're still reeling in that. Well, college was fairly recent for you, Jen. All right. So tell us what it looks like now, John. I mean, obviously we've kind of parlayed the fact that it snowballs. You do good work, you take good care of people, you stay in touch, you stay top of mind. Then when people do need real estate, they know to use you. When people have conversations with other people that need to buy or sell real estate, they talk about you. So yeah, for those of you listening, that kind of activity is certainly going to result in that same kind of a snowball that John has experienced, but there's got to be some fresh meat, some fresh blood coming into your circle, into your sphere, even over the last 12 months.
Oh yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
what does that
absolutely.
look like?
So when I had back to in like November, December of 2018, I kind of had my first few closings of my own where I was making my own full commission, and I was trying to figure out how to reinvest in myself and in my business. So I started in a way that a lot of agents go, and just started paying for leads through Realtor.com.
Oh,
Yeah, which is very interesting.
that's hard work, no question.
It is very, very hard work, but it's also one thing I didn't understand, I wasn't prepared for when I started in the industry, was talking to people that I've never met before. So I've gotten plenty of practice there and really understanding the value of follow-up. There's the cliche, fortune is in the follow-up in this industry. It's a cliche for a reason. It's very, very true. So I've spent a lot of time figuring out how to follow up consistently in terms of how many touches and how frequently I'm touching people, but also vary the ways that I'm following up to make sure that these people who are on Realtor.com and on Zillow and Redfin and whatever, they're reaching out, they're looking at 1,000 different properties, they're clicking on all kinds of stuff, they're getting phone calls from all kinds of different real estate agents. So it's kind of up to me to set myself apart and let them know that, like, not just me, but all the real estate agents that they're contacting, that are calling them, we're actually people here on the other end. We're trying to make a living. And I try to set myself apart by varying my touches. Like, I'll do phone calls, I'll do the very quick speed to lead, get them on the phone as quickly as possible, push for an appointment as quickly as possible. And if they're not responsive off the bat, I put them on a couple of different campaigns where I'll shoot out emails. I'll put them on, just kind of generic searches that the CRM that I use has a couple of interesting conversion features. I can put them on generic general searches based on like whatever they're looking at in Realtor.com. And I've come to shoot out video text and voice text and let them know that, like, here's my face. I'm an actual person. I'm spending my time doing my job. I'd love to help you accomplish whatever it is you need in this crazy market.
All right, let's stop there, because there are a thousand points that are important, and I certainly want to touch on a few of them, and I want Jen to interject a bit here too. We know, again, we don't. How do I put this? We don't recommend working internet leads. It's hard work. Conversion rates are low. They're selling those leads to a multitude of people. This is true in the lending world as well. Some of those people that are buying those leads are other lead companies that are then selling it to a bunch of people. You end up talking to potentially pissed off people, if you're even talking to people.
Right.
Okay. And we work on some techniques and that kind of thing, certainly with our coaching clients that want to work internet leads. Focus on when they filled out the information, try to reach them at that time of day, those kinds of things. And it's common. A lot of this goes on. Realtor.com, Zillow wouldn't even be in business if it weren't for people in your industry and mine buying those leads. And they certainly wouldn't be poised to take over your industry and mine if it weren't for all these people spending money on their leads. So it is doable, and a lot of people do it, particularly a lot of newer agents. Obviously, the ability to get to a point where your business is strictly repeat and referral, and again, good campaigns, good follow-up, good contact management, social media, video, which is another piece that you just mentioned that I want to make sure our audience understands is uber important. This is a great opportunity to really let people know what you're like. They all know. If you're calling on an internet lead, they know you're a real estate agent. If you send them a video, they know what you look like, they know your wardrobe, they know what your home looks like, maybe your home office, maybe your car, your sense of humor, your tone, your inflection, these kinds of things. So that, even just that little texting video pieces when we're talking about working internet leads can be the night and day difference between you and the other 8, 16, 412 agents that picked up that same lead. So I do think that that's a really big deal. On a more recent note, and Jen, I'll let you give the plug, we've started working, a lot of our agents buy these leads, ones that we work with on the mortgage side. So we see the leads. We plug them into a system that has a bunch of automated touches, including a vetting process of its own, to determine whether or not it's a qualified lead. Jen, what is this company?
It's Radius Agent.
Radius Agent.
Yeah, they typically work with real estate agents, but they're trying to get into the mortgage space. So we're kind of their guinea pigs in the mortgage space, which is pretty cool because we're getting to help them. Well, I'm getting to help them form their software around what we need as loan originators instead of because it is a little different.
It's a little different.
But it's a pretty cool system because there's real human beings behind it. It's these automated touches, but then real human beings responding if that lead responds.
And on the flip side, I'm seeing positive results from it.
Yeah,
so
already.
When they are able to get someone and qualify someone, I'm actually having a legit conversation with every one of those people. And even better than that, every one of those people was a lead generated from a real estate agent that we work with. So we now get a potential pre-approved buyer-borrower back into the agent's hands. And of course, if agents are using Radius Agent, they would get to cut me out of the loop. We would shorten that timeline of Radius getting me the qualified lead, or getting the qualified lead back to me, and then me getting it back to the agent. We cut that additional step out of the mix. So yeah, from what I've seen so far, and granted it's only been 10 days, 2 weeks, somewhere in that range.
Yeah, about 2 weeks, I think.
About 2 weeks. They're doing good work, and it's a combination of calls, emails, texts, from what I can tell. And just like those of you working internet leads, and John, I'm sure you experienced this then as well, some of these people are cranky. Hey, I've already heard from, 30 agents, leave me alone. I saw a text from one of these leads back to Radius that said, I'm at work, I can't talk right now, that kind of thing. So yeah, it is actually working. So for those of you that are curious about what to do with all those internet leads, rather than suffer like a new agent and try banging the phones at 2 a.m. while those people happen to be online the day earlier filling out that lead, check out Radius Agent. All right, so how about now, John? I mean, now it's just falling in your lap, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean,
buyers aplenty.
Yeah, it's not. I'm certainly not, a top 1% platinum producing agent, but my people come through my pipeline. Putting a listing on the market on Friday. That's a friend and a repeat client. I'm writing crazy offers this weekend for a repeat client, and this was a client that did come through Realtor.com a couple years ago and was able to convert and close, and they came back to me for business. So that's great. It's a great way to expand the sphere. And then, like you said, video. I like doing video. I find it kind of interesting watching real estate agents do video. I don't feel like we've really figured out how to do it really well or do it really consistently. And so that's been kind of fun. I've been able to, my friend Tommy and I, who's also an agent at BSW Real Estate, we've partnered and done a few episodes of a show called Just Between Us, which is a ripoff of Between Two Ferns.
Oh, that is funny. One of our coaching clients does a video series just like it called Beside the Ficus.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Decided to fight it. So that's good, and it's been a good business generator. It's just a creative way to be in front of your sphere. Like going back to like I can run my business how I want. I can infuse my personality, my sense of humor, all of those things into my lead generation. That's been a great way to do it. And we bring on various people from the industry and stick them on a tiny couch between us and ask them silly questions and talk about business. And we use it as as a lead generation technique, but also as a way to educate the public, educate other agents.
How can we find these videos?
I'll send you a link to our YouTube channel.
Well, if you give it to us now, we'll post it and share it with the audience live.
Sure. It's the YouTube channel is Just Between Us by John and Tom.
Okay. All right, Jen, see if you can find that and put it in the comments of the live broadcast, and we'll certainly emphasize that on the podcast as well. Very cool stuff. And I don't even know how to explain the kind of traction that gets. And we talk about all kinds of different things, whether it's doing video work like that, like this, writing. We talk a lot in our coaching about writing for trade publications, writing where your expertise lies. And while this is great stuff for the industry, and I would be willing to bet that there are countless agents, originators, other salespeople that have benefited from your YouTube channel, the kind of credibility that it builds with your buyers and sellers, with your clients, buyers and borrowers, if you're in mortgages, insurance agents, financial planners, on and on, because it lays out a good number of really important facts without speaking directly to them. One is by far and away one of the most important, the abundance mindset. And you're willing to help people in your industry better themselves, better their career. That's huge from a credibility standpoint, without question. And I think in classic, Zig Ziglar fashion, we all know this shit. You give, you get back tenfold. I think that was Zig's formula anyway. But yeah, these kinds of things are so important. I still come across so many salespeople that won't help other people in their industry because they think it's this ridiculously fierce competition, when if you're good at what you do, and guys, listen to what John is saying, because he obviously is. He's become a successful real estate agent in a short period, and if you're good at what you do, there's more than enough business to go around. Yeah, so those are a couple of huge pieces about these YouTube videos. Do you share them on a regular basis with your clients?
Yeah, we were. Yeah, I share them on a regular basis with my clients. Tommy and I we stopped doing it for a couple of reasons. One, it worked and we got very busy. And two, the pandemic hit and it got a little awkward to put people on a couch between us, which was really unfortunate because it was gaining some serious traction. We did a few via Zoom late last year. We were able to do a few via Zoom, which it was just, it was great. It was like this. It was a great conversation, but it kind of lost some of the humorous touch of being on that awkward couch in goofy outfits.
Oh, absolutely.
But yeah, so there was that, and then I started doing one of my own. I did 6 or 7 weeks in a row, just in my little reading nook downstairs. I have a coffee mug that says fresh out of the F word on it. I'm fresh out of FUCKS's. And I did a little, just kind of a Friday, fresh out Fridays, where I talked a little bit about how my pandemic experience was going, how the real estate market was manifesting in a pandemic. And that was pretty fun too. It was, again, it's kind of the same thing. It's just a way to adapt and evolve and stay in front of people.
All right. So the real important out of that is that, Jen, we still can't get anybody to legitimately drop an F-bomb.
Right?
Despite our rating.
Right?
We got to spell it out, so we get it.
We have everything marked so that we can.
And absolutely. And yeah, we certainly smell what you're cooking by running out of FUCKS to give. 2020 brought a lot of that out. In fact, 2020 really also basically eliminated my filter, which is why we have a at least PG-13, if not R-rated podcaster when it comes to language.
Absolutely
it is R. All right, yes. Jen says R. So it is what it is, but we certainly get it. So why stop doing it? Why only 7 or 8 of those videos?
Well, being totally honest, it got to a point I was like, I was having trouble coming up with weekly content.
Content.
Just for myself, I was, it became a lot of work. So I've been trying to figure out a way to kind of streamline the process because I take pride in like, I also composed my own intro music and recorded it here and had a little intro video, and it kind of became more about the video than it was about getting business. And again, it kind of worked. Like our brokerage has grown, and I have a mentor role at our brokerage, and that's taken up a ton of my time. So my free time is dedicated, instead of to work things, it's dedicated to these guitars and playing.
Wait. So you're saying that doing things like video work where the content is for the greater good of the community actually increased your business?
It sure did.
Wow. Just mind-boggling stuff there. I don't know why that's such a foreign concept, but here we are. Okay. And yeah, let's talk about that a little bit, because I see the multitude of guitars, an amplifier, a mic stand. Give us a little background on this stuff, John.
Oh yeah. So I mean, when I was a kid, you remember Celebrity Sports Center?
Oh, geez. Yes. Are you kidding? Saturday nights were for foosball and headbangers ball.
Absolutely.
And we had to get out of Celebrity quick enough to go see Ricky. So yeah.
Yeah, Ricky Rackman. Yeah.
That's right.
So I was in a bowling league on Friday nights with my family. We would go to Celebrity and have fun, and I'd go play video games for an hour when we were done, and then I'd go find them in the bar and say, let's go home. And one night when I was done playing Mortal Kombat in the arcade, I walked into the bar where they were having a cocktail, and they had karaoke going in the bar, and Welcome to the Jungle was on, and this girl was just wailing, singing Axe's parts, and they had the Welcome to the Jungle video on the screen behind her, and I was just like, what is that? That's what I want to be. And obviously it didn't work out at all, but I've been able to learn how to play guitar and play music, and I love music. That started my passion for music when I was 8 or 9 years old, and that's never gone away. The dream of being a rock star is still very, very much alive. Just haven't gotten there yet. Maybe one day.
That is cool. Well, this is a good place to do it, no question. But man, yeah, you were a kid when Appetite for Destruction was released.
I was.
Because I was maybe a teenager, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, video karaoke, that's certainly a big deal. And I will say, just to reemphasize it, growing up in Denver, and certainly down in the south suburbs, I grew up with Barry Faye's kids. So we got a lot of exposure to Barry. And yeah, the one thing I ever remember him saying was, no matter what you do it with music.
Yep.
And yeah, uber important stuff there. So guys, keep an eye out for future 1%er real estate agent John Yacovetta and future rock star John Yacovetta, because those are going to be really a couple of cool things for you guys to experience. You'll be able to say, hey, I saw him on Adam's videocast when he was nobody. Yeah, get your autographs now, people. All right. John, how does our audience get a hold of you? It seems to me like there might be some really good opportunities for mentorship. Maybe they want to work at BSW. I can't say enough good things about what goes on at your company. And I'll bet that there's a lot of consumerism in our audience, and there may be people looking to buy or sell a house. Well, we know there are plenty of people looking to buy a house right now. So how do we get a hold of you?
You guys can shoot me an email at johnjon@bswrealestate.com. You can call me on my cell phone anytime, 303-877-4126. You can find me on all social media platforms, LinkedIn, Facebook. Here for you, here to help you however I can.
Cool. And Jen, give us some highlights about what it is and what you get with the JTT text code there.
So if you text TIPS to 63566, if you're watching the video, it's scrolling across the bottom. You will get all kinds of links. You can buy a copy of Adam's book. You can get information about the Mile High Mastermind, which it will be the last weekend of September. We're pulling together the details and the speakers and everything for that right now. Links to our podcast on Apple and on Spotify. All of our latest videos, including older episodes of this show. And you can book a free hour of coaching with Adam and me, which is pretty cool.
That's a lot of content out of a single text code. Very cool. Well, John, thank you for doing this, and I'm not going to put any pressure, but I'm going to pressure you into coming back for another episode if you don't mind.
Love it. Would
All
love
right.
to. Thanks so much for having me, guys.
Yeah,
Really
absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and Jen, let's get that book sooner rather than later, knowing, what did you say before we went live? We're 13 months out
13 months out.
on a
Yeah.
weekly basis. Are we taking any weeks off?
I think I gave you like a week off
Nice.
somewhere.
Okay. And maybe you and Ashley will crash the show and kick me out someday.
Oh, we're already booked for another one.
We're already booked for that.
That's your week off.
So that is my week.
When does the Jen's spin-off start? Is Jen
Right?
her own show at some point?
I know we have enough guests for twice a week shows.
All right, and I would love to hear John play next time. Maybe we'll skip our normal intro and we'll let John belt out "Welcome to the Jungle."
Indeed.
All right.
I'll warm it up now.
Cool. John, thank you so much again. For the rest of you watching live, thanks for tuning in. If you're watching or listening to us in syndication, we appreciate that as well. And you can find us here on How I Met Your Mortgage, 10:30 a.m. on Mondays, Mountain Time. Now Mountain Daylight Time. We're back on just to add another weird quirk to the Denver weekend. And we will see you guys next week.